One of my subscribers asked a question. Awok, I think is his name, his or her name. Don't know your gender. Don't know your real name. That's okay. And it's about a topic that's it's a little older. It's something that happened 2 3 months ago. They set up these hospitals in Central Park in New York, and he gave the who, the what, the where, the when. He wanted to know the why, and so let's talk about that. Well, this is not going to be long. We're going to talk briefly about that. This is a good question. I appreciate him asking the question. How many people actually come through those hospitals set up in New York? That's a quick question. Let's talk about one of the 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 organizers of that whole hospital, field hospital in the park charade. Ken Isaac is his name. Okay. And Ken Isaac says, and I will find the link and put it in the description. I think I'm going to do that. Ken Isaac says that 1 in 20 Americans have COVID. Now, where he got that number from, I would like to know. Okay. 1 in 20, he said, he starts off the video, 1 in 20 Americans has COVID. How do you know that? How do you know that? Okay, so let's go with that number, 1 in 20. There's roughly 331 million Americans in America. So 1 in 20 would be 16 million Americans. He's saying 16 over just over 16 million Americans has COVID. How does he know that? My gosh. Like everything else, you have to follow the money. Now, when this thing broke out in China, China built a couple of hospitals very, very fast. I mean, it was lightning speed. He set up these tents in Central Park. Okay. They did not do that out of the kindness of their heart. Okay. Money was received to do that. And not only do they do it in Central Park, they do it in different spots of the world. They're this whole Christian organization that just goes around the world setting up these tents. And they're not doing it for free. And they're not doing it. Well, okay, so the tents cost money. The equipment costs money. Their time to be there and set all that up to get paid, that cost. Where's that money coming from? It's taxpayer money. Taxpayer money is being used to pay them to go set up these emergency tents all over the place. What was one of the last places they were at? Overseas, doing about Africa, doing about Ebola, doing God's work. It's that simple. This is a money thing. This is a money thing. Clorox has made a killing during this whole pandemic, to the point where it's one of the few jobs in Georgia where you can be paid $20 an hour to work there. That's how much they're running 24-hour shifts getting Clorox out because you all are buying the shit at a Clorox. Lysol, my gosh. Can't keep it on the shelves. It's money. Listen, when a pandemic happens like this, all you have to do is watch the stock market. You can watch the stock market, and when the market is down, and it's been down, you can get really, really proficient in using your laptop to track the companies that are doing very, very well in this environment. And then it's not hard to see. It's not hard to see if you have eyes to see the teams that have been put together to make money in this environment. All of your liquor stores were open. Now, how is that an essential business? I it's beyond me. But the liquor stores were open. Okay, you know, the WalMarts, the Targets, the fast food, the fast processed foods, all that was open. But a lot of mom and pop shops weren't allowed to be open. Churches weren't allowed to be open. This is not a this is not something that's difficult to see through. Okay. Now I'm from New York. Now I hadn't been there in over a year, but I'm from New York, and I have people in New York. How many people have come through those tents in Manhattan? It's a money thing. They got paid to set that stuff up, and they got paid handsomely. That equipment is not free. Those respirators that were also ordered. We gotta have respirators. We gotta have respirators. We're short on respirators. Somebody made those respirators, and somebody sold them. Somebody made a lot of money to do a rush order on respirators that are not being used, that are still new in the box. Interestingly enough, if you take 100 healthy people and put all of them on a respirator, 17% of them are going to die. That is a scientific fact. These are the dark ages as regards to, understanding of technology or lack thereof, because this is not a technologically advanced society. It is not. It is a shade, a small shade, a shadow, not even worthy of a shadow of the former technologies that existed on this plane not that long ago. You would have to get into Tartarian history, which was wiped off the face of the earth, to understand that. You can find it, but you have to look for it, and you have to know what you're looking for. A jewel, since we're talking about New York, and since we're talking about, these tents in New York, you look at some of these very old buildings that were used for psych wards and stuff like that. That wasn't the original purpose when it was constructed, and it wasn't constructed by the colonists that came here. These structures were all already here. That is the jewel. Dive into Tartarian history. Tartarian, I never learned about that in school. No, you did not. And apparently, Tartaria had 12 districts all over this plane. And here on this continent was a major district. And that has been erased from history. So my take on the tents, yes. I mean, listen, it's total privacy, secluded. Yes, in Central Park, but the people who will go through people who go through that, it's like the Roach Motel. The Roach Motel. Roaches check in, but they don't check out. You just stay away from these needles. Stay away from their tests. This guy comes out and tells you, and he said it 3 months ago, 1 in 20. He said it with so much bass in his voice and so much confidence. And the link's going to be in the description so you can see for yourself that 1 in 20 Americans have COVID. They're telling you that they are doing everything that they can do to find that 1 in 20 and treat them. It reeks of corruption, and it reeks of fraud, and it reeks of deception. Okay, because if 1 in 20 Americans needed to be saved by your porta potty hospital facilities, and you would have administered that all throughout the United States. First off. Second off, there are several states that never experienced a lockdown at all. They didn't close anything. They didn't close any businesses, nothing. Life continued. They instituted any masks, nothing. Life continued for normal for them right here in this country. Nebraska, Wyoming, places like that. Look it up for the full list. No problems. Yeah, I get it. They have less population, but you calculate it by capita and do the math on an even playing field, comparing oranges to oranges, and you have the same results. No problems. No problems. Very little problems. Very little deaths. So that that's the deal on New York. You you can see BS, and I'm sort of surprised because in New York is, even though you got social distancing. Oh, that's another thing I want to mention. In the video that's in the description, you're going to see he says 1 in 20 people have coronavirus. He says that blatantly. There are 40 to 60 people on site as this guy's being interviewed. And some of them have masks, some of them don't. But most of them are wearing their mask, under their chin, like a lot of you do when you go to work. And he actually grabs his mask and actually puts it on in the interview, like he forgot to put on his prop. But most of them are not walking around with masks, and none of them are practicing social distancing. None of them in the video are practicing social distancing as they're setting up this portable hospital. And the interviewer doesn't have a mask, let alone not wearing a mask. And I got to get closer to you so we can be in the same camera shot. And it's almost like they're laughing at you. So I appreciate the question. It's a good question. Why money is not the root of all evil, but in this case, it is. You have to follow the money. This just feels like another MK Ultra term to get you to hate money and to stay in the condition that you're at. That's another video. Money can be the root of all evil, and you follow the rich person with the money when you're looking at a crime. Okay, when a wife is murdered, first things cops check for is, they look for motives. Was there an insurance policy out for her? Or if an insurance policy was completed on a Thursday and she shows up missing on a Monday, the husband's going to be asked some questions. I'm not saying the husband's guilty. What I'm saying is the husband's going to be interviewed. You can believe that. You can believe that the husband's going to be interviewed. Okay, it's common sense. All right. So when you look at these nice structures, because they got the science taught down as far as setting up these portable hospitals, and they got shuffleboard tables so they can push stuff to people who need stuff without coming close to them. But as they're doing that, they're all standing around each other talking about what their procedure is. They have plenty of practice in utilizing these funds to travel the world in this agenda. That's all I want to say. That's a good question. AWOK. I'm hoping saying your name correct. Whether you're male or female doesn't matter, but I just I don't want to say his. I don't want to use the wrong pronouns. I don't want to piss people off. Thank you for the question, though. My perspective of it is stay away from Central Park. As a matter of fact, a lot of people actually left New York. They felt this coming. It was, I'm out of here. They're about to lose their minds here in New York. And I don't know who's more dangerous, the people who set up these tents, or the people who actually, the residents who live in New York, who are feverishly, attacking people who are not wearing masks and walking around, just running around. The cops who won't let people on the train unless they have their mask on. Taking this, I don't know who's worse. The people who are pushing this agenda, or the people who are blindly following this agenda. For me, they're all on the same side. I let you talk. I'm very quiet in real life, and I let you talk. I want to see where your headspace is at. And it's not about what you say. As soon as you start talking, well, you're vibrating before you start talking. But I'm a work in progress on that. But when you start talking, I can feel you out really, really quick, and I can tell if you're genuine or not. And I'm out of there. I let you talk to somebody else. I'll listen. When I feel like you're vibrating at a certain level, I'm out of there. Protect your space. Protect my energetic auric field. Thank you for the question. Thank you for coming. God bless you. Good day.